Chad Dawson versus Adonis Stevenson is going down tomorrow night. Now, Chad Dawson is light years ahead of Adonis Stevenson in terms of technical skills and overall talent. He's way more talented than Adonis Stevenson. He's much more experienced. He's fought at a much higher level. He's faced and beat much better opposition than Adonis Stevenson has ever been in the ring with, never mind beat. So on paper, Chad Dawson is supposed to win this fight. He's supposed to beat Adonis Stevenson. But the problem with Chad Dawson, as we all know, is that he don't always do what he's supposed to do. Chad Dawson is a guy who is mentally erratic. That's how he is. He's mentally erratic. You never know which Chad Dawson is going to turn up. Will it be the Chad Dawson who turned up and beat Antonio Tarver, Glenn Johnson, Thomas Adamek? Or will it be the Chad Dawson who turned up against Jean Pascal? Or against Andre Ward? Maybe even Dia Canoe. Which Chad Dawson is going to turn up? We just don't know. But when Chad Dawson is on his A game, he's more than a match for Adonis Stevenson. And if we see the best of Chad Dawson, he won't have too much trouble with Adonis Stevenson. That's how I see it. So the question is, will he bring his A game? I just don't know. And that's why I can't do a concrete prediction for this fight, because I just don't know. Like I said, if it's the Chad Dawson we know from back in the days, who came with his A game, then I can see him winning the fight quite comfortably. But if it's the Chad Dawson who turned up against Pascal, there could be an upset here. Now, like I said, Adonis Stevenson is nowhere near as talented as Chad Dawson is. In terms of boxing skills, technical ability, even athletic ability. He ain't as talented as Chad Dawson. But the two areas where he does have it over Chad Dawson, one of them is power. He's tremendously powerful, at least at super middleweight anyway. At light heavyweight, Dawson might be able to compete with him with power. Although Dawson's never been a devastating puncher, he's always had good power, respectable power. So we'll see how Adonis's punches are at 175 pounds. But other than power, there's one thing that Stevenson does have over Chad Dawson, and that's his mentality. Adonis Stevenson, unlike Chad Dawson, always comes to fight. He's always switched on. He always has his game face on. You never have to worry about which Adonis Stevenson is going to turn up. He's always turns up to fight, and he's a knockout puncher. He's not a guy who goes in there and he's timid and none of that. No, Adonis Stevenson is a killer in the ring. He comes for blood. He wants your head on a fucking spike. Yeah, he wants your head on a pole. That's what he wants. That's what he's coming for. And he comes for it every time. He's consistent. All right? Now, like I said, Chad Dawson is supposed to win, but there's an example I use a lot in terms of a fighter supposed to win. And that is when Vernon Forrest fought Ricardo Mayorga. He was supposed to beat Ricardo Mayorga. He lost the first fight, but he was supposed to get revenge in the second fight. Surely you can't lose to this crude, beer drinking, cigarette smoking Nicaraguan for a second time. Surely you can't do that. This Mayorga's a crude fighter. You can't lose to this guy twice. You lost to him twice. All right? Boxing is like that. Styles make fights and all that. And there could be something similar happening here with Adonis Stevenson and Chad Dawson. Stevenson may have caught Dawson at the right time. From what I've heard, Chad Dawson and his team didn't even know who Adonis Stevenson was. They hadn't even watched any of his fights until after they'd signed to fight him. If that's true, that's crazy. Where is Chad Dawson's mind at going into this fight? I just don't know. How did the knockout loss to Ward affect him? I just don't know. How did getting knocked out by Edison Miranda in sparring before the Ward fight affect him? How does this all affect his confidence? He was already a mentally erratic guy. This is the reason I can't really do a concrete prediction on this fight, because Chad Dawson is so unpredictable mentally. He has all the physical tools. He has all the ability. But I just can't read this guy from a mental standpoint. Therefore, like I say, man, I can't do a concrete prediction for this one. But I will be watching the fight, and I will be doing a post-fight on this one, because I'm very interested to see how it goes. Could we see a monumental upset? Could we see it? I might even I might even sneak a little bet in and put some money on Adonis Stevenson to spring the upset. I'm interested to see what kind of odds there'll be. Because Stevenson is quite unknown, but he can punch. I do actually like watching Adonis Stevenson. He's a vicious puncher. He's a southpaw, just like Chad Dawson. In case you don't know Stevenson, he's a southpaw. And also, this fight will be fought in Stevenson's backyard. All right, Stevenson is a Haitian, but he lives in Canada. And this fight will be fought in Canada. So it's going to be interesting, man. You know what I mean? I'm very interested to see this fight. Stevenson, like I said, knockout puncher, vicious guy. In his last fight, this just goes to show what kind of mentality Stevenson has. In his last fight, he fought Darnell Boone. Now, Darnell Boone was the first guy to knock down Andre Ward, right? He's a journeyman, but he can punch, all right? He was also the first guy to beat Adonis Stevenson. He beat Adonis Stevenson a couple years ago. He knocked him out in the second round. Stevenson was tattooing Darnell Boone, beating him up. Boone came out with one wild right hand, knocked Stevenson out. Right? Stevenson, he got up, but, you know, he was too badly stunned to continue. So in Stevenson's last fight, he fought a rematch with Boone, and he knocked Boone out. Now, normally in a fight where a guy is going in there with an opponent who had knocked him out previously, he'll be cautious. But Stevenson wasn't like that at all. He went right for Darnell Boone and tried to take his head off from the opening bell. All right, that shows you his mentality. This is not a timid guy. All right, this is not a guy who second guesses himself. This is a guy who comes to take your head off. You understand? Even against someone who he knew had the power to knock him out because he'd done it before, he still wasn't timid. He still let his hands go. He was still, you know what I mean, like going for the kill right away. That's what kind of person Stevenson is. He always brings his A game. He always has his game face on. And it's going to be no different against Chad Dawson. He's coming for the kill. He's in his hometown, you know what I mean? His adopted hometown up there, or at least home country up there in Canada, where this fight is taking place. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it is in Canada. So, yeah, intriguing indeed. Like I say, Dawson is supposed to win this fight. Whether or not he will, I don't know. And there's a lot of warning signs around this contest. You know what I mean? We'll just have to wait and see which Dawson turns up. But I'll definitely be watching it. Let me know how you feel about this fight. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Have you seen a lot of Stevenson? Do you think all the recent events in Dawson's life have been affecting him? Do you think they will affect him in this fight positively or negatively? Will they give him the motivation he needs to maybe bring the old, you know, rejuvenated Chad Dawson back? Yeah, leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about this. This is Hatman. I'm out.